I have to say, and of course I am a biased reviewer there, but for good reason. I really enjoyed reading Crooked Seeds because I think Karen Jennings does an amazing job creating this formidable character who, to me, I think, it's fascinating to sort of go through this experience. It's a pretty short book, but you get to connect with this character who strikes you from the beginning as a character you would hate. If you see her on the street or somebody in your neighborhood, you probably want to have nothing to do with her. Koudri, she does all the wrong things, and she's despicable. She's rude to people. She cheats the system whenever she can, and she's not somebody you'd want to have as a friend. And then you actually find out a little bit more that she's a little bit sort of like, she's got a bit of a history doing a lot of these terrible things. But at the same time, and sort of like as sort of time grows, you find out that there's a lot of complexity to her. She's suffered a lot. She's been dealt a very bad hand, as the saying goes. And this is time also, and that's what I find fascinating too. She lives, I think it's in the near future, where climate change has started to have some really bad consequences, and you see this in subtle ways in terms of like how she lines up for the water to just get the water, or how it's difficult for her to even sort of have a proper shower because the water is so scarce, and there's these fires that make in the background at one point. The other thing too about it is, as the pages go on, not only do you connect with the character, but then you start to sympathize with her because you see how much she suffers around these circumstances. You see how her past has been riddled with all of these issues, and with her family, with her with her own brother. At one point, she's in an accident and she loses her leg. I don't want to spoil too much of the book. I want people to still be able to read it, but you can't help connecting with her at a personal level, and even if you don't agree with what she does, she sort of she gets you sort of to maybe sort of explain how she's become what she's become. You see her interact with other people and with her mother, and how she's at one point sort of she has a daughter she talks to, and so it makes her very human. And I think Karen does an amazing job sort of creating these layers of complexity to this character. And whenever you get too comfortable liking her, she would remind you that nope, this is a despicable person. we're not supposed to love her. don't start rooting for her quite yet. But through that too, I think we're also discovering layers of society, and almost like the worst part of a humankind in a way. But then there's glimmers of hope and kindness, and there's people around her who, there's her neighbor who would still help her despite her being in a very difficult situation, being very poor, despite all the terrible things that Koudri does. Her neighbor would still be there for her, and I think that's a really good sort of like glimmer of hope from humankind. The book also reveals a lot about, I think, South African history, some of the darkest parts of history, and I think to me it's always interesting to read these types of accounts.